Greetings, 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 family. Greetings, greetings. You are loved and appreciated, and I thank you so much if you are going to pop on, and even if you don't and you watch this later. But hey, this is something new that I started to do on 8 o'clock. We got to renegotiate that time. I'm going to have to see if I really want to do 8 o'clock or not. But it's called In the Moment Live. And I'm very excited about being able to unpack the different nuggets that come after I've done this show. So, my name is Coach Charlene, and I am a podcast host, and I am so many different things, but the podcast has been absolutely amazing. I started it about, I think I'm totally in July, going on 2 years, and it was a heart project that I just decided to start doing, really to bring more joy and meaning for me to inspire other people. But I tell you what, it's been extremely inspiring to me. So, my aim, which I definitely will consider the time and most likely change the time to a little bit later because, when you're still grinding and working that 9 to 5 or beyond, it's a little bit challenging to get up at 8 a.m. So I'm going to look and see what time that I want to do this. But I don't know if you've had time to check it out yet, but you really want to check out my last guest. Her name was Christina Johnson. And, the way that I go about a lot of my guests is I'm a woman of God and I'm praying constantly and looking for divine connections that can add value and bring content to help other people. So that's kind of how I reach out for people. A lot of times I use LinkedIn, just to connect with the professionals and other change agents that are doing things. But my goal is to interview change agents and trailblazers that dare to dream, that dare to do something different with their lives, not the normal trajectory. So I'll have quite a few people on, and I've been really fortunate to have amazing people here. So I wanted to kind of unpack a little bit. We did for Christina Johnson, we did from adversity to authenticity, and now it was really awesome. She shared so many nuggets that I'm going to encourage you to definitely go back and check it out. But the few things that stood out for me, and I think that she was just flowing and telling us who she was and sharing her story, that she was dropping such so many wisdom gems. Like, for instance, when she first started out, she said, a lot of us, well, you need to discern who your Paul, who your Silas, and who your Timothy was. And that's like how she started out. And me, being a Christian, I totally got what she was saying. But when she talked about your Paul, your Silases, and your Timothy, it is so important to make sure that you have a tribe and you're connected with the right tribe, and that your gift is making room for you. In other words, you want to make sure that you have somebody that is mentoring you. So, whatever that looks like for you, who is the person that really feeds into you? Not the person that's going to pat you on the back and say, "Oh, great job, great job." They will do that, but they also want to be able to love you. And the love definition that I like with Dr. Coach Al Hollingsworth, he likes to define love is contending with another person for their highest good in every situation until it becomes a manifestation. So that person has to be able to tell you the things that you love and also the things that you don't want to hear. So that's your Paul, your Silases are those ones that you connect with, your buddies that you hang out with. But then there's the Timothy's. Those are the ones that you're pouring into. You're really pouring into them the knowledge and the expertise that you have. And so those are the three. And she dropped that in the beginning, and I was like, you know what? That's like a humongous nugget. Although we weren't really necessarily talking about that, that resonated with me because throughout my journey and throughout my career, I've had to have those three elements, and it's so critical because when you have a dream in your heart, you know that there's something amazing and huge that you want to do, you won't be able to do it alone. You have to have a connection. And, right now I'm working on a book, and it's about women, and it's about really finding that connection that you need to go to your next level. And so, anyway, I'll be announcing that a little bit later on in the next few months. But that was a big thing that she talked about. Her story was amazing because she came from such a traumatic background, but to see her talk and to see her move in that space in her business and connecting with people and pouring into people now is absolutely miraculous and amazing. And she shares multiple stories about all of the different things and all of the different adversity that she had to face. And I love when people do that because none of us are perfect. None of us escaped adversity. Adversity is part of life, is part of being human. So, and even then, when you think about, you know, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but I know that God delivers us out of them all. And she had an amazing story where she was able to go from beyond homelessness to where she is today. So powerful, powerful moment of survival, and it encourages anybody that's going through anything today. Anyone that will even just look around your life right now. You may not be where you want to, but you're still here. You still have breath in your body. So you still have time to be all that you were destined to be. Yes, it's tough. Yes, it's going to be a fight. Yes, you have to continue moving, but as long as you can look up, like Les Brown says, you can get up. And so keep on moving. That's really my encouragement there. Now let's look at some of the things that she also unpacked. Let me look at my little notes here. And I thought another point that she mentioned that was really good because the show is When the Moment Chooses You, and we focus in on When the Moment Chooses You. She talked about actually understanding that you're having a moment because sometimes we don't. And also, the big context of what she was saying is, are you enjoying the journey? Are you able to keep moving in the midst of obstacles, in the midst of people saying no to you, in the midst of you failing? Can you continue to keep moving and pressing in the midst of the adversity, which is really important if you're going to birth a dream? She also talked about manna, and that a lot of people are looking for the manna, but they won't, eat the little crumbs. There's crumbs, there's nuggets, there's little insights that come to you bit by bit if you're paying attention to them. So if you're ignoring the breadcrumbs, is what she called them, but if you're ignoring the little insights, the little drops of wisdom that you're getting, and just waiting for the big manna to come, then most likely you're going to be stuck and you're not going to move when you're supposed to move. So I really love that because there's clues, I believe, that determine our destiny. But you have to recognize what those little clues are, what those moments are. And I think that's why I'm so big with moments. Um, you have to discern and recognize moments. Moments are very, very brief. There's like a second. They're very brief, and so you have to discern and recognize. So you have to be a person that's like totally aware, aware of your surroundings, aware of what's going on within you. That connection to the divine is critical as far as I'm concerned because in the world that we're living in, is so much chaos around us that you'll be tempted to keep on going through the motions and really not hear or not see what you need to see when it comes to your destiny and when it comes to your dreams. So she talked a lot about um, how you have to be awake in order to hear and to discern those moments. And I like how Coach Al Hollingsworth said you have to be conscious. In other words, you can walk around your life in a hypnotic rhythm for your whole life doing the same thing. You're getting up, you're having breakfast, you're going to work, you're staying over hours, you're driving the same way home, you're coming back, maybe kicking it a little bit with the fam, and then going to sleep. And many of us know that story, that we do every day. But it will continue to be the same way until you wake up and you become more alert and say, wait a minute, I am over this. I am not going to be doing this. So you have to like disrupt your status quo so that you can start building momentum to get to where you need to get to with your dream, with writing your book, with launching a business, with starting a ministry, whatever that is for you. You have to disrupt the status quo and disrupt your little comfort zone so that you can move and do the things that your heart is getting asking you to do. There was a couple things that I wanted to share about her takeaways, which was really powerful. And one of them, she talked about the imposter syndrome, and many of us have dealt with the imposter syndrome. And the imposter syndrome is simply, I like to simply put it as, when you arrive at this place and then you're not feeling worthy enough to be in that place. You don't think that you're good enough because of those self-limiting beliefs and because of the internal work that you have to do 24/7. You feel that you're inadequate. And so she talked about sometimes that we're fighting the wrong thing. And I thought that was extremely powerful because she said, what about those people that have discovered who they are? They're walking in their truth. They're, showing up as their best selves. She doesn't really think that that specifically is imposter syndrome, but it's more so authenticity affliction. And I mean, it was powerful. You have to go back and look at the segment. But what I got out of that is you can have done the work, making sure that you're working on yourself, finding out, and actually operating in the highest level, the highest expression of yourself. And you still can be conflicted within because you've been you the whole time. I mean, from your existence, and now you finally discovered the real you, not the counterfeit you, not the one that is moved by other people's expectations. And so you finally discover this powerful person, and then you have conflict within. And so that's why she called it the authenticity affliction, because we're being so true to ourselves. You can feel that, that war. I call it the war within because as we have spirit, soul, and body, so there's a war within. When you finally decide, a lot of times the way that I like to say it, when you discover who you are and then you decide to become it, when those two mesh together, you become powerful, you become a force to be reckoned with. And most people scare themselves when they finally get to that moment, but that's the moment that you want to be into and be with so that you can flow from that space of power. There was one other thing she talked about, the let's see, what was it called, the shame vampires, the energy vampires, which is the shame spiral. Many of us get in that state where we allow shame to send us on a trip, and you need to capture your thoughts and you dictate where your thoughts are going to be. You have the ability. We are human beings are the only one that can know their thoughts, hear them before they come out of your mouth, and do something about that. We can introspect, we're able to do that. But I tell you what, if you don't manage those thoughts are going to manage you and begin to express themselves through you. And she talked about even the thoughts that we have for ourselves. A lot of times, where we get into that spiral, that shame spiral, we're ashamed of some of the thoughts that we're thinking. But just because you're thinking a thought that may be negative, that may be toxic, you don't release that out of your mouth. That's what I'm saying, because our words do carry weight. And so if you do start thinking something that's kind of negative and like, you know what, that was not my thought. That's really how I deal with that, because many of us get thoughts throughout the day. And some people are hormonal and are dealing with all so many trauma and pain and stuff like that. It forces you to think a certain way. And so you have the power, because we are renewed by the spirit of our mind. We are transformed by the renewing of our mind. So I'm constantly having to work on my mind, my soul, because that's the place where I usually get tripped up at. My spirit man knows what to do. My spirit man knows how to move forward. My spirit man knows how to discern what's right and to feel what's right and to move and lean into that. But my soul is where decisions are made. My soul is where, if I get to this place that I have a negative thought about another person that's in my thoughts, that thought comes to me, I can get rid of that thought. I can say, you know what, that's not my thought. I'm going to choose to think this about that person. And so it's this battlefield, and that's what we call it. It's the battlefield of the mind. You have to learn how to discern what your thoughts are and be able to flow with whatever's in your thoughts. And don't get upset with yourself because you had a negative thought. All of us have. So don't beat yourself up and go into this spiral, this shame spiral that she talked about, so that you can move forward. Because people stay trapped in that spiral and then they don't move forward. So, absolutely awesome, awesome, awesome um, show. I hope you go back and listen to it because she really added a lot of value. It was super, super easy to connect with her and talk to her about her assignment and what she's been doing serving humanity. And so, thank you so much for just listening because I know you probably will see this later. But um, also, put in the chat what time do you think I should do this show? I'm going to start doing this show probably a little bit later. I'm trying to think of a good time, but let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know what you think is a good time. This 8 o'clock, I'm like an early bird, you guys, because I was in the military. And so it's easy for me to get up and to get moving. But this morning I was like, oh my gosh, I really want to sleep in. But when I make a commitment, I do what I need to do for that. And so I'm one of those people, and I know the military had a big thing to do with me sticking to my word and doing what I say that I'm going to do. So I definitely will be checking that out, and I'll let you guys know what I decide to do. Um, it's really funny about a lot of people have been asking me, well, how did you start the podcast? And, what do you need? Is so simple. You guys, it's so simple. Starting a podcast is more so, are you ready to be consistent? Are you ready to go the extra mile? Because, hey, I'm a full time employee currently. And so I'm doing my love thing on the side. In addition to, I also have a group of women called the Dream Girls Network, and we're doing events and we're doing different things so that we can continue to be who we were called to be as women. And so there's so many things that I do, but I just don't accept excuses because life is meant to be lived. And I don't want to live it in this, what we talked about, this hypnotic rhythm, just going to work, paying bills, and then dying. No, 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 no. I am all about impact. It's all about finding your voice, releasing it to your particular audience, or finding that product, finding your niche, and then going after that with everything that's within you and enjoying the journey while you're at it. So, thank you for the time. And in the moment live, I will be putting out information about the time change that I will have. But thank you for joining in. Make sure you add your comments on what you think, or what you gathered from my episode. All right. You have a great day. And it was great being able to release wisdom. And so I will see you next Saturday.